The Silent Exit. Part 3. The Mask. Daniel didn't suspect a thing. If anything, he seemed more confident in his double life, moving through their shared home as though Maya's silence was ignorance instead of calculation. He kissed her cheek in the mornings, dropped late-meeting excuses in the evenings, and left his phone face down on the counter as if that alone concealed the truth. Maya played along. She smiled when expected, asked polite questions, and even laughed at his recycled jokes when friends came over. To anyone looking in, nothing had changed. The curated life continued. The dinners, the parties, the snapshots that painted them as unshakable. But behind the mask, Maya was shifting. At first, her revenge was subtle. She stopped filling the fridge with his favorite snacks, stopped folding his laundry with practiced care, stopped waiting up for him when he stayed out late. Instead, she filled her time with herself. She signed up for a painting class on Tuesday nights, something she abandoned years ago when Daniel had dismissed it as a hobby for bored housewives. The first night, she dipped her brush into cobalt blue and dragged it across the canvas, and something inside her loosened. It wasn't about the painting itself. It was about reclaiming space, her own space, untouched by him. She reconnected with friends, saying yes to invitations she used to decline because Daniel preferred staying in. She let laughter spill from her without apology, realizing how long she had muted herself. Every small act felt like a reclamation. Daniel noticed, though he didn't understand. One night, he walked in to find her at the dining table, sketching designs for a project at her class. He blinked, surprised. "Since when do you draw again?" "Since now," Maya replied, not looking up. He hesitated, then shrugged. "Looks nice." His phone buzzed. He smirked at the screen and disappeared into the bedroom, conversation already forgotten. Maya smiled faintly, her pencil scratching across the page. He didn't see it, but that was the point. Her silence became her weapon. Instead of confronting him, she gave him nothing. No accusations, no tears, no dramatic demands. Just a calm, cool distance that left him unsettled in small, quiet ways. When he came home late, she no longer asked where he'd been. When he mentioned work, she didn't probe. When he tried to charm her with the half-hearted affection he still rationed out of habit, she smiled politely and turned back to whatever she was doing. And slowly, she saw it. The flicker of confusion in his eyes. Daniel was used to control. He was used to Maya orbiting him, centering her world around his moods. But now, she was pulling away, slipping into her own gravity, and he couldn't quite grasp it. One Saturday, they attended a friend's birthday dinner. Maya wore a black dress she hadn't touched in years, paired with bold red lipstick that made her feel both dangerous and free. Daniel offered her a distracted compliment, but she didn't care. At the party, she laughed easily with friends, engaged in animated conversations, and for the first time in a long while, didn't measure herself against him. Daniel watched her, brows knitting faintly as though she'd become a stranger in front of him. On the drive home, he finally asked, "You've been different lately. What's going on?" Maya turned her head toward the window, city lights streaking past. "Just living," she said. He frowned, clearly unsatisfied, but said nothing more, and Maya smiled to herself in the dark. Weeks passed, and the gap between them widened. Maya's mask grew flawless, serene, untouchable. To Daniel, it must have looked like complacency, but it wasn't. It was preparation. Behind the mask, she was building her exit, quietly setting aside money in her own account, researching apartments in neighborhoods he'd never think to look, sorting through her belongings at odd hours, deciding what was hers and what she could leave behind without regret. She wasn't rushing. She wasn't reckless. Every move was deliberate, every choice measured, because when she left, she wanted to leave nothing undone. One evening, Maya stood in front of the bathroom mirror, applying lipstick before meeting Lila for dinner. Daniel leaned against the doorframe, watching her. "You've been out a lot lately," he said, tone edged with irritation. Maya capped the lipstick, met her own eyes in the mirror, and replied evenly. "I have." He frowned. "With who?" "Friends," she said simply. He opened his mouth, then closed it. For the first time, he didn't seem to have the words. Maya smiled faintly at her reflection. A woman she barely recognized but finally admired. The mask wasn't just for him anymore. It was for her. A reminder of her strength. And when the time came to lift it, she would walk away not as the broken wife he expected, but as the woman who had already begun again.